Hello and welcome to the third installment of Miniature Therapy. My name is Ben and I am the Miniature Militia of Minnesota all in one person. Welcome back, or if it's your first time, welcome to my home. I'm glad that you could make it because today we have something very fun. We are going to be painting the rider on the stone horn that we worked on before. These ogres are really fun. They've got lots of little cracks, crags, and details and big, powerful muscles. So we're going to get in there with the airbrush, and then we're going to take out the old paintbrush and use some basic techniques to really make this guy shine. To start out with the project for today, I wanted to highlight something that I am doing that's new to me, and that's using cling wrap or saran wrap. I had previously just used silly putty for masking off and working with the airbrush, but today we are trying something new. First off, we are going to start with Bugman's Glow. This is a nice deep base tone for skin colors. I use it quite a lot, and I'd like to say that for this project today, I'm doing a very basic skin tone. I'm not deviating very far from the way that Citadel's line or GW has it set up to be the basic. Here's these colors, put them together, you have yourself a skin tone. What the difference is here, or what we're showing today, is techniques. With several thin layers of that base color applied, we're moving on to Cadian Flesh Tone, which is going to provide the midtones of the ogre's flesh. As I am increasing in the level of highlight going up on this miniature, I am paying special attention to the angle and direction of my airbrush strokes. I don't want to be getting up under the miniature much more after I've laid down that first color. I debated with myself several times at this stage whether or not Reikland Flesh Shade at this point was the correct choice, but I am very happy with the overall result, and so I'm not ashamed to say that this is the point where I added Reikland Flesh Shade into the recesses with a paintbrush by hand. Now, often you will see, especially in Games Workshop's official videos, washes being applied completely over the area that is being darkened. Instead, with this skin tone, and often with most skin tones that I'm doing, I try to get in just in the recesses, and I'll even use my finger to wipe away excess. Next up, I added Cadian Flesh Tone to the Bugman's Glow that I already had in the airbrush, and started applying that even higher up on the miniature. And as I'm going up in these colors, another thing I'm paying attention to is where the light would be hitting the miniature naturally, and that would be from the sun on a cloudy day being optimum. That line of thought courtesy of Miniac's videos. You can check him out. I'll provide a link to his channel down below. I actually got the opportunity to meet him in person at the hobby store the other day and was a little bit starstruck, but he was genuinely a really nice guy, and it was quite the cool experience. Next up is Cadian Flesh Tone. This again is being applied even higher up on the miniature in short controlled bursts. As I'm getting higher up in these, I am starting to lower the PSI and coming in closer a little bit because I want to avoid overspray on the lower portions of the model, because at this point I'm focusing on the head and shoulders and not the knees and toes. Following the general pattern of mixing together one paint from before as we go higher, I've got Cadian Flesh Tone and Kislev Flesh going into the airbrush here, and again I'm paying close attention to what details I'm hitting, and really at this point, especially as I'm getting to Kislev Flesh, I'm focusing mostly on the face. Speaking of following things, you can follow the Miniature Militia of Minnesota on Instagram or here on YouTube by liking, subscribing, and or commenting on this video. The final highlight for the flesh here being Kislev flesh by itself in the airbrush. This is being applied close up, tight, and just to the raised portions of the face in a very small controlled burst or two. With the overall tones of the skin applied to this miniature, it is time to move to the details of his face. And to start with, I grabbed some Druchii Violet, which is going to be applied to the lower eyelids that are very pronounced on this miniature. It looks like he's seen quite a few days on the move with that nomadic lifestyle that Beastclaw raiders tend to live.
Oi, what are you trying to say? I just need my beauty rest.
Well, maybe this ogre is in need of beauty rest, but regardless, those eyelids are filled in nicely with Druchii Violet, and we'll be coming back to them in a little bit after we've applied some more shades. Speaking of which, the next one we're going to be applying is Caroburg Crimson, which is going to be put into the scars on his face. Again, just like the Reikland Flesh shade, I'm using this thinly and very controlled, going into just the recesses of the scar. With this step, the impressive scars and features of this miniature's face, perhaps from a bout wrestling a Mournfang by hand, are accentuated and brought to light.
That's a lot better. Tell them about my quality features.
Okay then. Well, the next feature that we're going to be working on is the rugged jawline here of this ogre, which is carved out very nicely by whoever sculpted this model. And what we're going to be doing is taking Lamian Medium and Dawnstone in a 1-to-1 mixture, which actually I think I ended up using a tad bit more Lamian Medium than Dawnstone, but this doesn't seem to hurt anything. And what I've done here is applied it very thinly and in a very controlled manner just under that cheekbone there that conveniently juts out in such a way that makes adding stubble like this quite easy. Next, I wanted to make sure that I colored in those teeth that are coming out from the bottom lip on his face here, and so I grabbed some Carrick Stone because nobody has pearly white teeth in the real world, so why would they in the age of Sigmar?
Hey now, I floss all 4 of these teeth with deer sinew each day.
Well, don't get too offended yet. We're not on to the next step yet. Of course, we're going to have to add some highlights to these teeth because just a flat color like Carrick Stone right there isn't going to look quite right. Which that color does happen to be White Scar. I'm using this in a very controlled manner again to just edge highlight the very tips of the teeth right on the top where they would be a little bit more fresh or frequently used from chewing. With this next step, we've got Lamian Medium mixed in a 1-to-1 ratio with Screamer Pink, and I get the opportunity again to talk about making mistakes, which I did right here. This color was way too deep and way too dark. Perhaps if this ogre was a female, it would look better or passable, but the Screamer Pink was way too stark of a color and way too unnatural. So instead, as you can see what I'm doing right here, I actually used it to accentuate the eyelids just a little bit more because I really liked the color. It just wasn't right for the lip on a male figure such as this.
You better be wiping that off soon.
Boy, your accent really seems all over the place, Mr. Ogre. Regardless, I'm not wiping it off. I am going to be going back over with some very thin down Kislev flesh to tint that pink color closer to a more natural skin tone, while still providing me with just a little bit of that pink peeking through to show that this is, of course, a lip.
Much better. I like this. Speaking of liking, don't forget to like this video and to check out the links in the description below.
Thank you, my militiamen and women, for watching. I hope that you really liked this video. Leave me some feedback if you'd like about the updated intro. The last one was a little bit too spicy. Tune in on Wednesday to see the rest of this model get painted. I'll be finishing up the rider in all of his details, including the beard, the bony bits, his pants, the fur on his boots, and everything else that you could want on the rider. As always, have a great day, and I will see you for the next session of Miniature Therapy.